Don't start your next relationship until you hear this. Okay, your last relationship went sour. Things got out of hand, and you're currently picking yourself up and dusting yourself off. Stuff happens, right? Life isn't fair. You can't control that. Before you get back into the dating game, make sure you watch this video. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I hope you are doing marvelous. I'm doing fantastic. I hope everybody's doing wonderful. If you're doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or let's roll. Before I get into the nitty-gritty, I want to acknowledge some of our best viewers, most loyal fans throughout the world, specifically in the state of Texas. I remember now Jasmine Hudson in Buenos, Texas, Bailey Pearson in Roma Los Science in Texas, and Caleb Lawson in Pleasant Hill, Texas. Thank you so much. Check your emotional baggage before you start a new relationship. Let's say things happen, you just broke up and you're trying to really rebuild yourself. You want to pay attention to your emotional baggage before you start a new relationship. Now, the thing here is that, before you reach out to someone else, before you start developing new romantic ties, you want to see where you are on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being very, very still emotional, with 1 saying, okay, I've decided to let go. You want to pay attention to those things. You want to ditch guilt, right? So basically, you want to stop, you want to cancel the retroactive process of self-judgment, the negative self-talk, right? Thinking about getting to what if scenarios. What if I did this? I should have done this. I should have been more this. I should have been more. No. The past is the past. You want to look forward. So ditch the guilt, all right? Another thing you want to do here is you want to ditch regret, right? You're not the victim. In any relationship, in any breakup, there are 2 sides of the story. There's 2 variables in the equation, sometimes even more variables. So stop treating yourself like you're the victim and everything is you. So you start regretting, you start getting to some kind of again, the negative self-talk. You can't, because that does not enable you. So you're not able to engage into a fresh perspective if you keep having this sort of negative emotions, right? Another thing you need to drop very quickly is the shame. There is no shame to have in a relationship gone sour. Again, as adults, we have to learn those things the hard way, but this is the school of life, all right? So I'm just kind of listening to you, the emotions that you need to drop, because that will make your emotional luggage even lighter, okay? So I talked about guilt, regret, shame. Another thing that's always there, and I talked about it, the negative self-talk, the inner critic. The critic that says you're never good, you should have done this, you didn't try well enough, you should have done this, what if. That inner critic has to be quieted. You want to quiet that inner critic, all right? And there are several ways to do this. We have dedicated other shows on how to really quiet the inner critic, how to meditate, how to walk, how to engage in other passions, how to actually just open a new chapter, how to think about your life as a series, as a TV series, and every episode is part of that series. But how you write the next series, how you write the next episode depends on you, right? You want to drop anger. You want to make away with anger. You want to stop it. Don't be angry at your ex. Don't be angry at yourself. Don't be angry at anybody. Right? The idea here is that for you to have peace of mind, for you to start looking at things objectively, for you to really get into your next relationship, for you to have this man or that woman to walk into your life and embrace you fully, you cannot be angry. You cannot have an angry heart. And who wants that? Would you wanna have an angry heart? No, right? So that's very important. You want to ditch past relationships, right? Sometimes we, humans tend to have this sort of self-fulfilling prophecy where if you lose 3 times in a row or 4 times in a row, people start thinking, oh, I'm cursed. I have a curse behind me, or it's not working. I'm very unlucky in love matters or whatever. No. Sit down, think about things, see things clearly, learn from your mistakes, and see what worked and what didn't. And try not to repeat the same mistakes again, right? So the past relationships are gone, including the most recent one. So the idea here is not to go back and start looking at all your relationships and see that, oh wow, I was with this man or woman for 3 months, the other one I was with her or him for 9 months. No, nobody cares about that. All right. So, and the last thing the last thing that's very important when it comes to your emotional baggage is stress. You want to drop stress. You want to alleviate stress. You want to kill it. You want to remove it from your life. Whatever you can do. Again, engage in new activities, listen to music, travel, hike, exercise, whatever it is. Go out with friends and family members, whatever it is, you want to do this. So all of those things will help you again alleviate your emotional baggage before you start your next relationship. I will be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I'm still here talking about a very important topic that we all have to go through. This is breakup. How do we pick ourselves up and engage in the next relationship? I want to acknowledge some of our viewers in the state of Tennessee: Macy LeBlanc in Fayetteville, Tennessee; Casey Barker in Pinson, Tennessee; and Justice Alford in Jonesboro, Tennessee. If you want us to give you a shout out in our next show, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. You want to like, comment, and share this piece of information here. We want you to contribute here by letting us know what you believe, what you think is the best way to start a next relationship. Speak your mind. We are really interested. We read all comments and all sort of contributions. We love them. Now, number 2, be clear on what you want, and most importantly, don't want. Right? The thing here is that if they're a failed experience, right? Let's call it that way, right? A breakup is a failed experience. You don't want to settle for less than what you want, right? So the thing here is that, be clear, close your eyes and visualize your next man or woman. Know exactly what you want. The clearer you are, the better it is, right? People talk about, the law of attraction, and saying that the clearer you are, the more clear you send a message to the universe, the better your chances of receiving the ideal results. And I believe that. I really believe that. So the thing here is that you want to define your value system, what's really important for you. Because when it comes to a relationship, we're not talking only about the physical aspect, right? Of course, physics is very important. Not physics. The physique is important. The person's emotion is important. The person's intellectual ability is important. But there are other things. What about values? What is your value system? What do you believe in? And what must that person believe in? Right? The thing here is that before you can actually be clear on what you want and don't want, you need to truly understand your own value, your own worth, your self-worth. You have to be comfortable with that. This is why a lot of psychologists and a lot of couple therapists would advise people after a breakup, after a divorce, to live single for some time. So they are able to reconnect with themselves. They are able to live exactly the way they want. They are able to find joy and peace in the little things of life without a partner, right? Another thing you can do also is that try to observe couples that you admire. Hang out with them, ask them questions, how they're able to maintain vibrant the love fire for so long, how they're able to solve conflict, how they're able to find solutions when there seemingly is none. Another thing you want to do here when it comes to be clear, when it comes to establishing some mental clarity, is to also start communicating with the right people. Surround yourself with the right people, right? Reach out to people who are likely to boost your morale. They're able to boost you up as a person. And most importantly, also be authentic. All right? I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We still continue our conversation around how to start a great relationship the next time you are on the dating market. And I want to acknowledge again, I want to recognize our beautiful listeners and viewers and fans throughout the world and in North America. Particularly, I want to recognize Eric Munoz, and he is in System, South Dakota. Blake Walters in Ipswich, South Dakota, and Kaylin Lopez in Millbank, South Dakota. The third thing you want to do is enjoy yourself. Take time to enjoy yourself. Meet new people. Go eat something, just enjoy, just engage in your favorite activities. Visit new restaurants, right? You want to try new activities. Pick up a dance class, or a hiking class, or a climbing lesson. Get out of your comfort zone. Get out of your comfort zone, right? The thing here is that you want to take it as lightly as possible and try to reconnect with yourself. As I spoke about it earlier, the idea here is to do exactly the things that are good for you. As I said, psychologists and couple therapists will advise people to stay to be single for 3 to 6 months, so they're able to re-find themselves, right? And you want to take your time, travel, discover things, learn something, surround yourself with the people who can boost you up, right? The idea here is that think about the breakup as a new chance to come big on the dating market, which is why one thing I would strongly advise you to do, and which I've done personally in the past, is to get in shape. Go to the gym. Participate in competition. Do you like to swim? Start some local contests, some local swimming competitions, right? Do you like to dance? Do that. Do you want to try to reconnect with old friends? Call an old family member. Call your grandmother. Call your granddaddy, right? Talk to folks who can actually elevate you, not only spiritually, mentally, and intellectually, right? Get a membership at a library, the local library. Go to a conference. The idea here is for you to reclaim the space that has been lost after the breakup. After a breakup, you always have a space. You always have a gap that is void, that is not filled because of the pain, because of the anxiety, the ignorance, the envy, all the strong emotional baggage creates a gap. And you want to reclaim it. You want to refill it. And the only way you can do it is by focusing on positive ideas, positive emotions, and positive activities. All right? I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, with another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I'm still having a conversation here around how to be ready for your next relationship. And speaking of which, I want to wish Willie Myers from Thumpsville, Connecticut, a great relationship. She just started a new relationship. Thank you so much for suggesting this topic to us. Gail Fisher in Greens Farms in Connecticut, we acknowledge you. And Aileen Bird in Milford, Connecticut, we acknowledge you. Thank you so much. And thank you. Another thing I want to really talk about here is how you want to plan how you will find your next relationship. And this is more than important. Why? When it comes to plan your next relationship, there's one thing you have to be very careful about. You want to basically, once you're clear about what you want, you got to go into the circles where you are most likely to find the person you're looking for. What I'm trying to say is, if you want somebody who has a PhD in chemistry, you are more likely to find that person if you attend conferences and symposia around chemistry. You are more likely to find that person if you go to libraries, if you go to research centers. If you're looking for somebody who, if you want someone who is fit, that is a sports man or sports woman, an athlete, you're more likely to find that person at gyms, on stadiums, right? So the idea here is for you to really understand exactly what you're looking for and go for it. So one thing I want to talk about before I talk about how you plan your next relationship, I want you to reconnect with yourself. I think I spoke about that a little bit before, but I'm going to sort of talk more about it. The thing is, before you start dating, right, you want to fill your life with things that make you happy. A hobby, volunteer, exercise, travel. That I already said. But you need to relearn yourself. You want to have an honest conversation with yourself about your past relationships and your feelings toward love. Why? Because there may be some mistakes that you keep making over and over and over. So without having that conversation, if you can't have that conversation with yourself, you might be prone to making the same mistake. Now, if you can't have that conversation with yourself, reach out to an elder. Reach out to someone at your congregation, religious congregation, somebody in the community, to your mentor, to a coach, to a parent, right? The idea here is for you to identify those things. You want to stay fearless, right? To understand that there is nothing wrong with you. That you are able to ditch all those wrong emotions of regrets, the emotions of the inner critic, the negative self-talk. You want to ditch those, right? And again, remember, there's nothing wrong with you. And the thing here is that nobody's going to come to save you because there's nothing wrong with you. You are there yourself. You are comfortable and you're confident. So once you have that, once you do that kind of a positive self-talk, get out there. Now, when it comes to this, don't be too picky up front, folks. You just want to let things happen. And, be clear what you want. And hang out in areas where you're more likely to find the person you want. Smile, make a good first impression, right? And try to expand your search, the scope of your search. Let me call it this way, right? You try to look everywhere. Like I said, you go online, offline, everywhere. A lot of folks are against the whole online dating thing. I don't buy that. I really don't. You want to know why? Because when it comes to love can be found anywhere. I don't think that you have to, I've never used Tinder before, but I support and I've heard stories from friends and family members who've used Tinder very successfully. So it's all about what works for you, right? The idea is not to ditch any medium, any particular platform, any particular scheme to finding your next mate. The idea is to be open-minded, to be flexible, right? The thing is that, again, make a good first impression, be in a top shape, smile, just be at your best, right? And have a plan. You need to have a plan. A plan means what? A plan, I love the whole acronym of SMART when it comes to marketing and economics. SMART standing for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So you want to have a SMART plan when it comes to finding your next mate. So you can give yourself 6 months or 9 months, whatever it is, but you need to be specific. You need to be able to measure it. The reason why you need to have a plan is you're going to have to go places. You're going to have to go to events to find that person, right? Because the person is not going to, he or she is just not going to drop in your life overnight. It takes work, right? I'm sure you know that. And the thing here is that another thing depending on your age, you have to account for something very important, which is dependence. Are you willing to date someone who has children? Are you willing to date someone who has pets? Right. So those are things that you have to think about. You also have to come to terms with interests. What are the interests you can't live with? Right. By interests, I'm talking about people's beliefs, their religions, their political affiliation, their social background. You need to have those things very, very clarified before you get out there. All right? I'll be right back right after this. Don't go away. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We are about to wrap up today's conversation. I'm very glad that you're still here with us, and I want to thank you very much. I want to give a shout out to Darwin Barnes in Apalachicola. That's in Florida. Apalachicola. I love that name. Florida. Phoenix Fitzpatrick in Kempville, Florida, and Brenda Logan in Tequesta, Florida. Now, so let's recap today's conversation. Before you start your next relationship, check your emotional baggage. Be clear on what you want and don't want. Enjoy yourself. Reconnect with yourself. And most importantly, plan how you will find your next relationship, your next mate. All right? And here is today's pro tip. The thing here is that, it's okay to be single. A lot of folks are very scared about being single, and we live in a world of social media where everybody's just trying to show off online, and this is my mate, this is my man, this is my woman. I'm having this sort of perfect life. Everything is cool, and so folks are just scared about being single. Being single is not a bad thing, as long as you have a plan to get back on the dating market and are able to find your mate. It's like silence. It's like turning your phone off. Sometimes it's just better to take a break, take a step back, reconnect, re-energize before moving back on. All right? Another thing you have to pay attention to is, so it's okay to be single. Another thing I want you to pay attention to is to just have a positive outlook on life. Smile more, laugh, make yourself happy. I'm talking about personal happiness. Take care of yourself first, not just anybody else, yourself. All right? Thank you for listening to today's show. I really appreciate it. If you haven't done it yet, please consider subscribing to our channel. Turn on the notification bell so you are made aware of anytime we drop a show. Like this content, share, and most importantly, I want you to comment below. Comment and let us know. Comment on all our platforms, social media platforms, what you believe, what you think about this topic. What is your suggestion, your tip when it comes to a relationship? We want to know everything. All right? Thank you, and stay marvelous.